What's up, everybody?
I'm Janae.
I'm Quee. And if you're watching this, you're officially a part of the Glitter Family. So how y'all doing, family? Tonight,
Hey.
we are going to be discussing our coming out stories.
Yes, in spirit of Pride Month.
In spirit of Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. It's the dopest month of the year.
Yeah.
For so many reasons. Main one, it being Pride Month, Safety Month, and also it's halfway over.
Hey, 2019 is almost over, halfway already.
Yeah,
so we multitasking tonight because babe gotta get cute for Pride. Our Pride here in Indianapolis is this weekend.
Yeah.
And she gets to meet one of my grandmothers for the first time tomorrow, so I gotta make sure she's snatched. So I'm gonna be twisting, and we're gonna be sharing our coming out stories to everybody. So you wanna go first, babe?
Yeah, I'll go first. So like I said, when we were talking, I don't remember dates and things like that. I'm not good with that in any
Can't give us the chronological
perspective, but I know Nair had already been born, and I know it was within the last 10 years because it was since I had moved down here. And I had the freedom to engage in interactions with more women, whether it be dating, relations, whatever. But I felt like that I would get serious with somebody eventually. So I can't remember who brought the conversation up or if I just came out with it one night. Sitting in my mom's house, I was just like, I like women, in case you didn't know, to my mom. Like, I felt that if anybody needed to know, she needed to know. I didn't really care about what anybody else thought. I've always just cared about what she thought, but I had to grow up out of that. So when I told her, I remember her reaction being, I wish you wouldn't have had kids. So yeah, I don't know how much more I can elaborate past that. It was just kind of like, okay, people have kids every day, who's gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender. People adopt and raise kids. What does me having kids have to do with me letting you know that I'm going to be pursuing women and only women from here on out for the rest of my life? And she said that, but in the same breath said that she knew. So like that part of it, I didn't appreciate that part as much as I think, some people probably would, but I didn't appreciate that because it's like, I feel like a lot of parents be knowing anyway. So it's like, if with that being such an uncomfortable conversation for me to have with you, trust, I'd had it with plenty of other people that I was comfortable with long before I just said it out to you, to my mom. But if you knew, why didn't you just ask me then? Like, what were you waiting on me to say it for? Or was it that you just hoped that I never would have said it to you? I don't know. I didn't ask all those questions. That question I just didn't appreciate, or that comment rather. I didn't appreciate that comment when it was all said and done. But I mean, she wasn't hysterical or anything. She said that and it was kind of like blah, I kind of already knew your feelings towards any of us, your kids being lesbian, liking the same sex. So I already knew to expect, like, not a warm embrace, because it wasn't a warm embrace, but she didn't shun me either. She just was kind of like, why would you do that after having kids? Almost like to say, like, I would have accepted you better or more had you not had kids and been this way. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't know how to take any of that. It was just kind of like, Okay, so you knew. Now you know officially because you heard it from the horse's mouth. And whether you care that I had kids first or whatever other thoughts have come to mind, nothing matters outside of the fact that I want to finally live the life that I've always wanted to live anyway, because I grew up. The reason why it took me, mind you, I'm 31, I'll be 32 this year. So when I said it's been within the last 10 years, like I done came out after 21, where other people, well, a lot of people, I can't speak for everybody in the world, but a lot of people that I've known came out long before that, like in their teenage years. But I knew long before my teenage years, it was so much conversation surrounding not liking girls, don't like the same sex, and ooh, they gay, and ooh, they lesbian, this, that, and the third, that just kind of discouraged me from speaking out about it, about how I had felt, and then further discouraged me to even pursuing it. Like I hadn't, I was telling you, I hadn't even messed with a female until pretty much right before them years of telling her that I came out. It was college. So yeah, I don't know, I wasn't deterred either way. Like it wasn't a big thing to me. I think she felt some kind of way, my mom did. My sisters was kind of like in the background, like we knew, like everybody knew. My cousins, I believe, I can't remember how the conversation started that night, but I believe I was talking to my cousins like the day before or days before that, and they were kind of not really egging me on, but just asking me, like, why you don't just tell her? Like, we all know. You talk to us about it freely, why you don't just tell her? And that's kind of what had even gave me the motivation to just be like, you know what? I'm going to tell her. And I did. It was whatever to me. So she felt that way, and I went on about my business with dating women because,
It's cool. Well, my coming out story was, I don't know, it's funny to me thinking back on it, like thinking how it happened, and it definitely wasn't warm and embracing. It was actually almost the polar opposite. I will say, I wasn't put out. I had definitely heard a lot of stories from other young LGBTQ plus people, peers, even one of my close peers who actually, her mom put her out when she told her that she was lesbian, which I didn't understand because she dressed like a boy anyway, so it was kind of like a no-brainer. She already had worn boys' clothes, but she told her mom, and her mom put her out about it. For me, mine was pure accident. I actually had no intentions on coming out. I planned to just deal with it and just live my life in secret until I was 18, and then I was going to move out. That was the plan. I had actually planned to go to school in California, Los Angeles, which is like the gay capital that I knew of at the time. So that was my plan. I didn't want to tell my parents. I didn't want to find out what their reaction was going to be. So I was good on that. I already knew our family was Christian based, even though we didn't go to church every Sunday or every other Sunday or even on every Easter Sunday. We did not go to church very often at all when I was growing up. But I already knew that if I decided to tell them, it wasn't going to be a fairy tale ending. So I had already made in my mind that I wasn't going to tell them. I was going to just do what I needed to do to be happy in that moment. I actually, when I realized that I actually was attracted to women, I had met my first girlfriend, and she was a stud. So at first I was just identifying as bisexual because I was like, she dresses like a boy and walks like a boy. She goes by a boy's name. So this is just going to be a cool transition for me. I'll see how this goes. And, you know, I would be on the phone talking with her. This is when Facebook really opened up to like high schoolers, 2006. So I would be on the phone with her and she would say hi to my parents in the background. And I'd be like, Sean said hi. And they would say hi back, you know, no thing. And then we were painting the house and she had offered to come over and help. And I was like, well, here goes nothing. And so she came over. It was evident that she was not a boy, but, you know, I don't know what I was hoping would happen. And my mom was cordial. She's always been cordial. She's never been that type of person to make somebody feel uncomfortable or unwelcome just because she doesn't agree with their lifestyle. Except me. I'm the only one who got that. So she was real polite, real sweet to Sean. So I was thinking everything was cool. I said, okay, I might have underestimated my mom. Definitely did not. As soon as she walked out the door after being there for a little while, like, we needed help painting, but my mom was like, no, we're good, we're okay, thanks for stopping by. Real sweet, real cordial. And as soon as she shut the door, she's like, don't you ever do no shit like that again. That was my mom's words to me. And she's like, so what, are you gay now? What? And my immediate response was no. Like, I was like, I see how this turned out, your response to her even coming. So no, I'm not. She's like, are you bisexual? And I was like, nope, just denied it. And from then on, I knew that it would have to be something that I kept to myself. That just affirmed it for me. And then I dated Sean for a year. And we had a really bad breakup. I ended up dating somebody else that I had met. And we hooked up over one of my best friend's house. We all ended up spending the night together. And we ended up sleeping with each other. And I ended up calling her when I got home that next night, talking to her about it. It was real late, but we were on this back when house phones was still popping. So we were on the house phone talking about it. And my mom picked up the phone and heard a good deal of the conversation that we were having. And it was pretty explicit. We were very detailed, recollected what had happened. And then she just chimed in on the phone. She's like, hang up the phone. And my heart just dropped. I said, there is my social life. I'm going to be dead. She's going to kill me. I don't know how much of this she heard. And it was very explicit. Not that we knew much about what we were doing, but we definitely wasn't doing just nothing. And yeah, so I don't know how much of that she heard, but at any point in that she picked up the phone on it.
It wasn't good.
It was not good. So we politely had that conversation in the middle of the night. She's like, "Now I asked you before. Mm-hmm. Are you gay? Are you lesbian? Are you bisexual?" And you told me no, but you sitting here on this phone talking to some girl about y'all putting y'all mouths on each other. So that was pretty much that. And I remember that conversation so vividly that it's actually, I think, been the toughest thing about dealing with who my mom is today. Like, I tell Babe about it all the time and she laugh at me because I be in so much disbelief. I'm like, I don't think you understand the words and how they resonated with me that night, having that conversation with her. And her just blatantly telling me, I will never accept that for you. I will never acknowledge that for you. You will never be able to come in this house and say, this is my wife and kids. Those were her words to me. And now here we are 13 years later. And we've shared meals with my mother. We went to a comedy show. with my mother. And, you know, she hugs on Quee. She loves on the girls. Naira's graduation from 5th grade, we had a dinner. She and my father came, and they got Naira a nice card and put some money in it. And every time I talk to her, she asks about everybody over here. I can talk to her about issues that I'm going through as a mom. And I've actually had the opportunity when my last breakup, it was a really bad breakup. Me and that person had been together for almost 6 years, and it was a lot of things that had ties that had to be severed because we, you know, were together for so long, and just I had to move home. That was my plan, to move home and regroup after the breakup and get my money right before I moved into my own spot. And during that breakup, I spent a lot of time talking to my mom, and we connected on a level that I never expected us to connect on. Like, she was really interested in why the relationship didn't work, what I was going through still living in the house with her after we had broken up. She was very invested, very interested. She called me very often to keep in touch with me and just make sure that I was okay still being in that situation. And, you know, even offered to come and help me move my things. But over the years, she's always still been cordial, you know. With my ex, when we were together and I would go have her with me go over to my parents' house, she never came in the house. But my mom always spoke. But it's surreal now. And, like, as far as my father and his response to all of it, he's always been a laid-back, nonchalant type person anyway. So the night that conversation was had with my mom, after she heard the phone conversation, his only response to me was just, you know, that's not how we raised you, and, you know, that's never going to be okay in this house. We still love you. You're our daughter, but that's not the life we want for you, and we're never going to be accepting of that. So, you know, I don't know what to tell you. And he just kind of stayed neutral in the whole situation. But he was the first one when we went to the comedy show, hugging on Quee, and, you know, we're all sitting at the table drinking and such. And when we went to my graduation, I rode up there with Quee and the girls, and my parents and my grandparents came, and my dad, you know, made a point to ask Quee if they were going to be at the open house with me. And, you know, made a point to remind me to introduce her to my grandparents, because I was still in shock that all of us were there. So, like, if you go on our Instagram together, theGlitterFamily, you'll see the picture of all of my family that came to my graduation. And, you know, the caption that I put underneath it, like, you don't know the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that I've endured by myself just thinking about that day, and the growth in my parents, because I never really came out to anybody. I always just stayed to myself, let the whispers go. I know that people on both sides of my family know, but it's like one of those things that nobody talks about or asks me about. They've heard about it, but they don't really bring it up. We just don't talk about it. So her coming to my open house with me was really like my official kind of coming out, if you will. Like, I didn't introduce her, and I had already told her that, because I don't really talk to people in my family like that anyway. So I didn't introduce her as my fiance. I just introduced her by her name so they would know what to call her. But, you know, I don't go to family functions like that now. I know we won't be going to a whole lot of family functions, period. We're actually planning on moving, so I still just kind of keep to myself. I stay in my own lane. I thank everybody for coming to my open house, and, you know, we kept it pushing. We hung out with my people for a while after the major crowd of people left, and that was that. And we'll be going to my little cousin's open house Saturday, and she'll get to meet my dad's biological mom tomorrow. We're going to dinner with her. she's been the most welcoming. I feel like a lot of my family's been really welcoming. My Aunt Charlotte, who's my dad's sister, my mama, who's my dad's stepmom. They've been very warm, very welcoming to Quee and the girls. But my grandmother Candace, who don't even live here, she's probably been the most welcoming, most acknowledging. You know, whenever I talk to her, she always asks, how's the family? And Quee was saying today that she really appreciated that that's how she acknowledges Quee and the girls. Because, you know, even with my parents being as cordial and as sweet as they are, my mom calls her my friend.
Why do you feel like your dad's mom has been the most welcoming? Like, what's the difference between
Candace? You mean
Candace?
I think because she just, in a sense, I really feel like that's just her going against the grain to kind of really keep herself in the spotlight, because she already knows how my dad and my mom feel about it.
But what makes her more welcoming than like Aunt Charlotte or
I think just
or Mama?
I think everybody else is just cordial, like not, you know, it's kind of like Auntie Anjanae. Like, you know, we speak, me and Auntie Anjanae, we talk, we have good conversations. When it's just me and her in the kitchen, we be kicking it, we be cool, and I love talking to Auntie Anjanae. But she don't ask like about the wedding But
that's why I guess that's why I asked, because when we were at the open house, I don't even know if I talked to you about that, but Aunt Charlotte was asking me all kind of questions, like, make sure you tell me when the date is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She ain't said nothing to me. See,
yeah, Charlotte was like, when's the date? And I told her, like I tell our friends, this year, next year, whenever Janae decides. I know it's gonna be 9/25.
Something.
But she was like, let us know.
We really have to get a date together. I don't know. She's, even with her, Charlotte, like, she's never been, I don't know. We had a rough patch when I was a teenager, because I think she felt like I was a bad influence on Sierra, but Sierra don't need no help. Oh man, she's always been, she's always walked to the own beat of her own drum. I ain't never been an influence on her ever.
Everybody has good and bad in them.
Yeah, but I think because she was the baby cousin, I think I caught the rap for a lot of the things that she got in trouble for. And you know, so we had a little rough patch where she just really, not that I was banned from the house, but she definitely didn't want me around. Like, that's how I felt. I felt like she didn't really want me around.
You wasn't a good influence.
Yeah, she didn't feel like I was being a good big cousin. So, you know, and then when everything hit the fan with me coming out and leaving home abruptly and everything like that, it just always felt like everybody was so disappointed in me. And you know, I would talk to Sierra and she would say things like people would be having conversations and making comments about me and what I was doing. But I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm taking care of me. You know, I'm not coming home and asking people for money and coming home and bringing drama with me whenever I come home. I come home, I say hi, I make sure I'm here for the holidays. I'm still respectful. I'm dressed, you know, well. I always do well to make sure that I represent my parents as best as I can while still being my individual self. So I felt the kind of way, and that's what really distanced me from my family, because I would hear all these things about myself. I'm like, I don't know who I talk to tell that information to. So that's why I don't even have family members on my social media like that. And I have a handful of cousins that are my friend on social media, because I don't like for people to be on my social media stalking and then running back and telling what they saw. Like, my mom's not even my friend on social media. So, you know, I don't like for people to feel like they know who I am or what's going on in my life based on what they've seen online. Not that I share a whole lot, but I share enough, and I don't want anybody to be coming up to me trying to have a conversation with me like they know what's going on. So, but yeah, I didn't know that. She hasn't said anything to me. about the wedding. Like, I talked to Sierra because she was talking about the photo packages, but
you don't talk to her every day either, though.
Yeah, I don't talk to her every day, but I mean, I've talked to her. I've seen her in a handful enough times. Like, for her to say something to you at the open house, she's never said anything to me or inquired about the wedding. Anna did at my grandpa's birthday party at the beginning of May. Asked me when the date was because she's going to be leaving for school in August. But I was not, you just shocked me with some news. But see, it'd be like that, those things. Like, that's how my family on both sides is just passive. They just kind of, they talk amongst themselves. It's a lot of black families like that. They talk amongst themselves, and then they see you and they hit you with some shit that you didn't even know that they knew. And they feel like that's their time to voice their opinion about it or give their opinion. Like, even with Grandma Candace, like, I've never talked to her about my lifestyle.
I think you just underestimate that.
And I know that the only reason that she knows is because of either really just my dad. Because, Charlotte's my friend on Facebook now, but she wasn't for a very long time. So I know that the things that my grandmother Candace knows is because of what my dad has told her through the years, probably just trying to vent as a parent. And
Mama, let me tell you about my
right, and then she comes and she's here and she's like, I don't judge. I love everybody. You my number one grandbaby, so it don't matter. I just want to meet the family, and we got a lot of catching up to do. Yada yada yada. I mean, she's lived in California for the greater part of my life, so I think her having that liberal view and just being nonchalant about it, she kind of grew into that anyway, just being in the thick of it, being in California. So I don't know, that I didn't really have much of my coming out story was completely on accident. I've always been a really private person. I had no intention on actually telling my parents, and it was crazy because I remember the first year that I tried to do some research on just resources for LGBTQ plus teens. And they fucked around and sent something to the house in the mail.
You put your address on
it. Right. But the thing was, I had canceled out. I thought they was going to send something to my email address. They sent it to the address. And my mother came to me and she's like, so what's Pride? And I said, I don't know. She's like, yes, you do.
Wait.
I couldn't even.
You've been trying to lie since been lying.
I couldn't even front about it. I was like, I don't know. And I kept it pushing. I don't know. I have never wanted to make anybody uncomfortable, but I also still want to live in my true, authentic self. And at the end of the day, that's how I've always felt about the LGBTQ plus community. Like, I'm happy that we have community, but I'm also irritated that we even have to have a community because we can't just live amongst our family, live amongst our peers, and be treated as a heterosexual couple would be. Like, if a man is at his office talking about his wife, nobody bats a lash about it. Nobody gives it a second thought. But if I say my wife, it turns into a whole nother, you want to delve all the way into my business. Like, when did you know you were gay? Oh my gosh, I didn't know. You don't dress like, you don't look like. I've had this so many times in the office. I'm like, well, what does gay look like? I breathe. I have 2 nostrils, 2 ears,
rainbow flag,
1 ass. Like, I don't know. Am I supposed to, have rainbows shooting out of my shoes every day? Like, what does that look like? And it's 2019 now. Like,
yeah, but that's, I understand your sentiments with that, babe. You've mentioned it quite a few times, but community is necessary because the LGBT community is an oppressed people, much like black people. Yeah. And wherever there's a group of the oppressed, you have to have a community. They have to come together as a people because those are the only people that you have supporting you. Yeah. And then you have your sprinkle of allies. They're not directly in that community, but they make the choice to be indirectly associated, while that may not be their lifestyle. They support our individual lifestyles, however we choose to live it within that community. The same like with being Black. Like it, and you know, your sentiments towards, you know, not liking that we even have to have community, that could be the same sentiment for somebody feeling like we shouldn't have to, Black people shouldn't have to always rally together, but we're an oppressed people, so we do. Against the oppressors. Yeah,
I think it's just a little bit different. Like you can't shake being Black. That's, you wear that outwardly. My business with who I'm with in my bed is my business. Okay. But when somebody decides that it's because I've made a statement, not an announcement, I made a statement that this is my life. It's no different than a man saying, but you gotta, this is his wife.
You gotta walk people that take that line as an invitation. Too bad, because saying you can't shake being Black, that's true. But there's a lot of people in the LGBTQ community that feels like I can't shake.
No, I don't mean like. I mean, you see the skin of our tongue,
the visual, right? You can see.
Like, even if you dress in an androgynous or you're transsexual and it's clear that you're transitioning, whatever the case may be, it is a fine line. But for somebody like myself who doesn't appear to be gay, and then I make that statement, and then you take it upon yourself to think that that's an invitation for us to have a whole conversation about my sexuality, that's what I mean by... It's sad that we even have to have that community, because it should be a lot more normalized than it is. Even though we've made huge strides, and I know it's been many years since the Stonewall riot.
But you see what I'm saying though? Like, being an oppressed people, like, while LGBTQ is not the Black issue, the issues are similar. Just overall, the umbrella is that we're an oppressed people, so we can't even fix our lips to say, but it's 2019. When it's 2025, it's gonna be the same thing, because even though to us, we feel like people should be more accepting to it openly all over.
I don't even want you to be accepting. I want you to mind your motherfucking business. That's what I want you to do.
But that's your individual feeling. But it's so many issues that come along with it socially that people fight for every day, and we're gonna wake up, it's gonna be 2030, just like women's rights. We're still gonna have to fight for that, because we're an oppressed people. Whatever didn't start off being normal, heterosexual, white, you get put in a category where you have to commune against or amongst other people like you. So, you know, I feel you. Like I said, I understand the sentiment, and everybody should really just mind their own business. The world would be a better place that way. That's the facts, because you're a factual, logical thinker. That's the facts, and we would get along a lot better if people were just accepting to let people live their lives. It don't matter what type of life they want to live. But the real facts of the current situations still live in the fact that those people are an oppressed people. We are an oppressed people as Black people. We're an oppressed people as women. We're an oppressed people as LGBTQ. So, you know, just you know, giving you that highlight so that we are sensitive to, you know, we have our own lives of being sensitive to the community that we appeal to, because y'all are people, y'all are our family. So, you know, however y'all feel, we have our own individual feelings.
I have nothing against community, and I definitely understand the reason behind it, why it even develops. But for me, it's just getting to the base of it. Like I said, if people would just mind their own business, there wouldn't be anything to actually oppress. That's where my issue comes in. Like, and you're right with the fact that it has been so long, you know, Black people are still oppressed. Slavery's been over for hundreds of years, and we're still dealing with that, you know, even though... And that's
really illegal slavery has been over, because legal slavery still exists.
Definitely.
The 13th Amendment, is the 13th? Look, let me not throw out facts like it's 13th or the 16th. I know it's one of them. That clearly, when you read between the lines... Still but legal slavery, you know, it's okay.
The difference between, you know, if I said something about make a comment about me being black and somebody be shocked and surprised about it. I have to wear that. A lot of people nowadays, especially if they see somebody dressed,
that's by environment, because you could think about it. If you were in corporate America and maybe it's a big, let's just say, law firm, and you just made partner, but decades it's been nothing but white men on names on that list of partners for that firm. And as soon as you walk, maybe top CEO or however the process goes assigns you to this case, and it's some white collar crime with a white guy that's committed it, and you walk in, him not knowing that you're going to be the lead lawyer on this case. As soon as you walk in, somebody could take offense, like, hey, you got a lawyer, she's our partner, but she's a black lawyer. As soon as you saying, that's so normal that nobody's gonna be offended, that person might be like, nah, you're gonna need to get William back on in here to do this, because I've been paying y'all how much for how long? Ain't no black, whatever. About to be no lead on my case.
I get it.
So that's all about environment, because we can go on and on about social issues.
Definitely could, but so overall, like, don't take it as, we're here for the community. That's, be clear in that, because we play devil's advocate all the time. We have great debates like that all the time. She definitely knows that I'm here all for the community. For me, it's all factual for me and pretty black and white, where she sees a lot more shades of gray. People just need to mind their business. That's my opinion about it. If people would mind their business and not make a big deal about things that have been going on, even racism. Black people been here. We gonna be here. The fact that that's even still something for people to still have hatred towards somebody that doesn't look like them, that doesn't believe like them, that doesn't love like them, whatever it is that's not like them. There's no such thing as common anymore, right. So for you to feel like your way is the only way, and anybody who doesn't see things or color in the lines the way that you do, then they're against you, or they deserve your judgment, or for you to be mistreating them or discriminating against them. Like, it should not be happening. It doesn't matter what your demographic is.
But you know what though, the whole idea of people should mind their business, because I live in that community. I'm in that community too. Mind your business for real, because it's true. It's not any of your business who I'm sleeping with, whether they're same sex or opposite sex. It's not any of your business if I'm the lead female black prosecutor and the only one in that office. Is not your business. All that matters to me is that I worked for that position. All that matters to me is that I chose to sleep with that person. But that's almost I always be looking for words. Is it a thing? Is it the right word to say naive? Because minding your business is not the American way. No matter
Facts.
If we black,
Facts.
LGBTQ,
Facts.
White, the whole American way
culture of being nosy.
is to not mind your business. They came over on the boats, not minding their business, or else they'd have stayed in Europe and Spain. You feel me?
Okay.
So
you did that.
People almost got it honest. It's like, you got it from your forefathers.
Right.
You don't know how to mind your business, because it's the American way for you not to.
Right. As American as apple pie.
You should not be an American.
We are a melting pot.
Make America great again. We always been the
nosy.
Not minding our business people that we've always been, no matter where you came from before you got to America, no matter where your people came from.
We inbred to be nosy.
You just can't, you walk into it, or you were born into it. But nobody minds their business.
You're right.
It's a small community. That's why I said I'm a part of that community. But mind your business.
Like another community.
We're an oppressed people. I'm not dealing with you tonight.
Well, that is it for our coming out story and our little debate, if you will.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. We will see you guys next time. We might pop back on here, so if y'all see another video and we got on the same outfits, don't think we trifling. We might have another conversation that we want to record for y'all tonight. We don't know. We have been slacking. I recorded a video with the stuff that I got for the kids for their summer craft box. I recorded that before Memorial Day. I just posted it today, June 6th. So apologies for the tardiness. It has been an adjustment. Last summer I was home with the kids by myself. This summer it's been an adjustment having my counterpart here on the deck with me. So, we might get into that on another conversation. And reflect on, actually, I do. We're going to come right back and talk about our conversation with the kids. We had a LGBTQ plus sensitivity family meeting that we took a picture of that we want to talk to you guys a little bit about. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, peace.